this is the big thing, dude. You guys, New Legend, Jared is the guy that came up with that name of New Legend. And so we had this, we had, New Legend was birthed out of Anything Scout. And we saw it as like our top end line, like the ultimate expression of our craft with this New Legend line of trucks or model of Scouts. But we're like, we don't really want to be, we love other vehicles as well. Like we love Jeep Wagoneers. We love Range Rover. There's just so many other things that we love. We don't want to only be a Scout thing. So we said, and it was just taking on this life of its own. And we needed to have New Legend needed to have its own identity, but it wasn't called that. But actually we didn't even, like, you came up with the name, but at the time it was still a model. But we had all these. So we have this whiteboard in our office. Jared comes for a camp and we have all these words like vintage, preserve, patina, like all these like retro on one side. On the other side was like modern, reliable, performance, all these different, there was these two sets of ideas. And we stared at this board for probably 2 months and came up with all these crappy names. There was like Aesop, like all these weird names. We're just like, you know, like when you're trying to name something, it's just like, that's terrible. I know. But you think it's like, but I got it. And you say it out loud and it's like, that's terrible.
How do you say that? How do you spell it?
Yeah. So Jared came in and I remember it clearly. You're like, I talked to you about it. I'm like, I walked through the whiteboard and you're like, just give me an hour. And you're like, leave the room. And you set up a chair and a table and you just stared at this board. And then I went out and I came back like an hour later and you're like, I got it. No. Right?
No, that's not how it went. It was along those lines. Okay. I don't want to make it sound like it's that good. It involves a toilet and like a day or two.
Really? Okay. But
you continue on your story to make me out like this Mad Men legend, and then I'll share like my version of the same.
Okay, because I remember, and I do have a bad memory, but it was like you wouldn't tell me. I remember that
is correct. When I got it, I wouldn't tell you.
Okay.
Because I wanted to show you. I needed to show you a visual.
Yes. So at dinner this night, after you told me you got it, I'm like, dude, just tell me, bro. It's like not that hard. Just say the words. Then we sat down at dinner. You got out your laptop and you make this presentation, and it was awesome. And it was like literally like you getting that call from Dallas.
Yeah.
You're like the skies opened up, and I'm like, that's it. Like it was genius. And like,
thank you.
You came in hard. You only had one option too.
Yeah,
you didn't have a plan B.
No, I didn't. That was
it.
So take us through. I was actually going to be like, if you don't take this, you're an idiot, and I am taking it back for something else.
For something else. So I'm forever indebted to Jared. So let's take us to your part of the story.
So on near the top of my professional love list is the creative side of business, marketing, branding. With OSA, Online Soccer Academy, I didn't really think that way in the early days. I just kind of came up with like a name that I thought would be search friendly. So if I was starting OSA over again, it probably wouldn't be this name.
Right.
It's just kind of evolved, which
sure, it is good.
Ultimately, I think if you're a good marketer, you can brand a piece of toilet paper into anything. Yeah. So in another life, if I wasn't a soccer player, I feel like I would be one of those Mad Men characters that would just think of creative ways to brand concepts.
Anything, right?
Yeah, just come up. I don't know. I find it so. I'm not like a designer, but I appreciate design. I can kind of have a decent eye for it.
Yep.
So anyway, when Sean was telling me about the new name, I was like, oh, let me take a stab at it, please. And I've been fortunate to name some other things the last couple of years, and it's just fun. So I was like, all right, take me to the shop. Let me look around. Let me look at the board. I was looking at the big word names. I thought, well, those won't do good, but I'm not going to say that.
Did we have some sample names up there?
I mean, you had so many words and names up there, which was a good brainstorm. Like, you should have a lot of ideas. Like, in the idea phase, you don't want to shoot anything down.
Right.
You don't want to, what about this? Just let it flow. Let it flow. Let it flow. Don't overthink it. Let it flow. And so I think I took a photo of the board. And I've always, like, loved Anything Scout and the customer and the what it was, because there's so much passion, and I love that honor the past, build the future.
That's right.
I thought that was such a cool line, and this old truck being road ready for today, and the modern man in the 21st century. Like, most modern men don't have, they're not good enough on trucks to like repair them, but they want the old look. I just thought it was so cool. So
And just a tiny piece of extra context.
Yeah.
When Jared comes and stays with us for his coaching gig, like he gets to drive a Scout.
Yeah.
So like that's been always something that.
Oh yeah. I can't believe I get paid to come here and hang out.
Yeah.
but
yeah, and just like
yeah.
but just like that feeling, and actually I appreciate you sharing a little bit about this because I'm so used to it. Like I feel like it's like if you live in the mountains, like do the mountains ever become white noise, or if you live on the beach?
Yeah.
But like, so you get to experience these Scouts, and is there this kind of hard to explain thing that happens when you drive a vintage?
Oh, sure.
4x4?
I mean, when I ride a beach cruiser, I can't help but smile. When I drive an old vintage 4x4, I can't help but smile as big as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And then when someone pulls up next to you and they're like, dude, sweet truck, man. You're just like, yeah.
Nice Bronco.
Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, when I get to drive the old Scout, what was that, from the 50s?
No,
The
it's
red
a
one?
67.
It's the 67,
Yeah.
this red Scout.
Doorless, topless.
Yeah, doorless, seatbelt kind of barely works. I don't know.
That's right.
Well, last night the lights went out on me on the farm roads of Iowa. So yeah, it's just super cool. And I was kind of like, let me take a stab at naming it. And I also wanted to come up with a name that you could go cross platform, that it didn't matter whether it was a Scout, a Bronco, a Wagoneer, whatever.
Yep.
It was a brand. And it needed to be easy to say, easy to remember. And so I just kind of said, like, I took a look at the board, and I think I said something like, just give me a day or two. Let me just
I thought it was an hour.
it wasn't
Really
an hour.
genius.
That's too much pressure.
Okay.
I was like, give me a day or two. So I just kind of let it float around and whatever. And I was in the bathroom at Sean's house where I stay when I'm in town. And at this point, I didn't really have anything. I was just letting it float around. And I look over and I see this.
Letting what float around? Oh, come on. Okay.
Sorry. Letting the ideas float around in my head. And courtesy flow, please. So I look over and I see this Old Spice bottle. And I think, Old Spice. Well, that's interesting. 2 words. If it was just Spice, that would be, dumb. If it was New Spice, that would be weird. And I was like, there it is, New Legend.
Wow.
Because something about like, that truck's a legend, that guy's a legend, what a legend. But everyone's like, it's such a legend of a thing, but it's not an old legend anymore. It's a new one. It's road ready for today. And I just felt like that word, just that combo was like immediate. And then I couldn't get it out of my head, and I had to sketch out a little design for you, even though I'm not a designer, which is why I didn't want to tell you the name. I wanted to show you the name on some graphics. And yeah. So Sean makes it out like when he heard the name, that was it, that was the name. But my recollection of the events was you kind of had a look on your face like you were thinking. And my thought was, he's not crazy about it. Jared, don't say anything. This is his business. This is, this is his thing. If he doesn't want it, that's fine. But all I wanted to do is be like, Sean, take this name and run with it. You're crazy if you don't. But I didn't say that. And I didn't find out the name was New Legend until the next time I came.
Which is a year later.
A year later. And you just like dropped it in the conversation. You're like, yeah, things at New Legend are going great. And I'm like, wait, you called it New Legend? And you're like, yeah. I'm like, what? Why didn't you tell me?
And I apologize for that. But it was universal, dude. Like
I'm still asking for my shirt.
Yeah, you're going to get one.
Yeah. Can I get Luke? Can I get a shirt, please?
Yeah, that's right. We actually, just to show the pace of things in real world context, when you're working and building a brand, building a business, shirts take a while because they have to be right to represent the brand. Like, so we're pretty stoked. We have a new line of apparel coming out. So you'll be, as my friend Matt from Freenote says.
My address is 331.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
My friend Matt from Freenote says, like, you'll be fully dipped.
Sweet.
This New Legend top,
I can't
head to
wait.
toe. I'll give you like an axe, one of our New Legend.
Yes.
An axe.
Oh, I'd love an X.
Flannel.
Yes.
You'll be a legend in and of your own right.
This is recording, right? 'Cause this has all been documented.
But what was rad, Jared, is like when it's right, and it's like everyone I told or everyone that has interacted with it's like it just fits. I can't imagine the company, the brand without that name. So it's so great, and I again am forever indebted to you. And someday you will get a massive credit towards a New Legend rig.
Can't wait for
So
that.
you can be cruising around.